Hello, Barmy Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army.
Welcome
Don't forget to wear
to
your mask.
another episode of the show. And today, Nick is with me, and we are going to be talking about The Weakest Link returning to America with Jane Lynch.
Best known for her roles in Glee, 2.5 Men, The L Word, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and plenty more.
Plenty more,
She
yes,
was taking
indeed.
on the role originally made famous by Anne Robinson. Now, of course, last month actually marked the 20th anniversary of the first edition of The Weakest Link.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, it
was
first
that in
aired,
the UK or in America?
It was. It was a format made by the BBC.
Okay.
It was first broadcast on the 14th of August in the year 2000, and originally generated a hell of a lot of complaints.
Yes.
Because Anne Robinson, who at this point was best known as being quite kind of like a lively vocal presenter of both Watchdog and Points of View back in the day.
Yes, and quite friendly in some ways as well.
Yes, all of a sudden she was this stone-faced, mean-looking, and she was known as the Queen of Mean.
I know, it was fantastic, wasn't it?
So it was hosted. So yes, she was the host. The voiceover announcing the strongest link and the weakest link was John Briggs,
Wow,
best
okay.
now known as the voice of Siri, or one of the voices of Siri.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, and very well-known voiceover artist. And the show ran between the year 2000 and 2012 when it was all the way then. It was licensed to over 100 other countries. And briefly in 2001, Anne Robinson actually hosted a primetime US version.
Yes, I remember that actually. Yes.
Which, as well as regular episode, featured a lot of other celebrity episodes as well. And it lasted for about 1.5 years in the US before the primetime version was axed, but there was a syndicated version hosted by George Gray. But there were versions in loads of other countries as well.
100 different versions, potentially.
Yes,
wow.
And it had loads of different names. It was Le Maillon Fable in France.
Okay.
It was De Schwachste Schakel in the Netherlands, where it was actually revived last year.
Oh, because of the anniversary, no doubt.
Possibly. I mean, it was. It was. I think it ran for a few years in the Netherlands originally.
Okay.
And there was actually a celebrity version in 2017, which was hosted as part of Children in Need.
Yes, I remember that.
It
now,
actually
you saying
featured.
that.
It actually featured the Dutch set because that was the last one there was.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it had been so long. I mean, it was 5 years after it had finally come to an end here.
So they must have got rid of the BBC one or sold it off.
Yeah, they would have done. I mean, like I say, it was it was axed in 2012 after 12 years on air.
Wow.
And yeah, it's and of course it was in lots of other as well. It was El Rival Más Débil in all Spanish-speaking countries.
Wow.
It went as far afield as China, Hong Kong, Russia. There was an Arabic version, but in the early 2000s, I watched it a lot in the early 2000s.
I think everyone did. Because it was Weakest Link and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, wasn't it?
Yeah. Back in the day, there wasn't a lot of game shows on in the daytime. I mean, now there's loads. I mean, we've now got Pointless, The Chase, Tipping Point.
Tipping Point, yeah. Badger Junior's personal favourite.
And there's loads of others as well. And it was, I think it's, and it generated a lot of complaints because, she was just, I got to kind of a few years later, it got to the stage where she was being rude to them quite a lot.
Quite evil, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So, we've watched the trailer of the American version, the updated one. What do you think the new presenter is going to bring to it, and are you excited to watch it?
Well, I think she does seem to be marking herself very much on Anne Robinson. The one thing I will say is, when Anne Robinson hosted it in the US, she spoke very slowly and obviously, which I think was meant to sound mean, but it was almost like she was talking like they didn't understand her accent.
Yes. So there was a bit of a mixture of two, wasn't it? What was she trying to do there? Belittle them, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that by the looks of it, Jane Lynch, she has modelled herself on Anne Robinson. There's the wink, there's the catchphrase,
That's it.
there's the whose brain is stuck in neutral and other accents like that, you know.
And obviously that's from her character in
yeah.
Glee, isn't it? The very sort of Sue Sylvester type character.
She was probably quite a good choice. I think she's going to be more animated than Anne Robinson was, largely because she doesn't have to worry about Americans not understanding her accent.
There was that when we watched the trailer, you could tell that she's going to say, didn't she say, "Oh yeah, we're going to have some fun with this"?
Yeah.
So she's going to enjoy being mean and put out the quips.
We'll see what happens.
It's going to be fun.
I did watch The Weakest Link a lot back in the day, more because I like game shows more than anything else.
Right.
I didn't care much for her kind of like basically trying to insult contestants and find fault in them all the time. I think
that must have been quite hard to watch.
That got a bit tiring after a while. And there was this whole notion of sometimes contestants would vote off their rivals, and it's just like that's just a bit sucky, really. You know, I know they're trying to improve, like make it possible that anyone can win it, but at the same time, but I don't know. I mean, some people might say I always had more of an issue with that than with the insults.
That's right. So, what do you think of the prize money being upped as well? That's a load of money, isn't it?
Well, in the original version, in the original US version, it was $1 million.
Wow. Okay.
So it's the same as it was in the original
it's just been
primetime
upped
version.
from the UK version then.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the trouble is it becomes more on onus of actually, it becomes more, if the onus becomes more on winning than it actually does of actually banking money. And I think a lot of the contestants, they didn't actually work very well as a team.
Oh, okay, no.
I think there was, I don't know, the trouble is, and maybe the UK version had this as well, there becomes a lot more ego becomes involved, and it just ends up with contestants bickering over not a lot of money. So
brilliant. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on probably in a few months or later on in the year,
well,
is it not?
It's actually, the first episode is scheduled to be the end of this month in America.
Wow, that's going to be interesting.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know if it's successful. I mean, they might bring it back here.
Fingers crossed. Will they bring it back here? Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks we've just moved on from that now. The trouble is the problem that I have with it is you know, back in the day it was probably considered quite shocking, but now most of what she says is, you know, it just seems like internet trolling, you know. It's tired now.
Indeed.
You
Well,
know?
we'll see if the newest presenter can bring some new life into it. Your thoughts on The Weakest Link being rebooted, please, in the comments. And did you enjoy the original UK one? And are you looking forward to it perhaps coming back in the UK if it's popular in America? Comment below and we'll see you later. Bye. Mask on. Bye.